Ladies and gentlemen, reparations is growing across the nation. At one point in time, they would say something and then we just kind of quiet down. Well, we are beyond those times. They can't come up with any magic words that's going to make this go away because it's actually exploding across the country and it's going to continue to do so, whether you like it or not. You have no magic words. Zero. So let's get into this, y'all. I have done several videos on reparations in the different parts of the country that where they're coming up with task force to move forward to push reparations through. We haven't seen any real tangibles go out to the people just yet. So, a movement to pay Black Americans reparations for slavery gathers steam across the country, and it most certainly does. Okay. California probably recently has been the biggest on the radar about this whole situation, ladies and gentlemen. So, and it's going to continue to grow because as time goes on, many of these states are realizing they have to do something. They really do. So, dozens of Democratic ran cities and states have already established or considering establishing task force and commissions to study the issue, and a handful have already launched programs. Efforts also underway by Congress, where progressives in both the House and Senate have introduced legislation that would create federal commissions to tackle the prickly topic. They have done nothing. They just threw up HR 40 in our faces, and that was really to try to make us go quiet about this whole thing. And as you can see, it did not work. So in the Senate, New Jersey, Senator Booker is among those spearheading the effort. And I don't trust Cory Booker because back when he was running, he was one of the first people to come out and say he did not support reparations. And then when he saw the response he was getting, all of a sudden you see him popping up here and there involved in these reparation talks, and nobody's going to forget what you said, buddy. Nobody's going to forget. So, in a letter urging President Biden to support his initiative, Mr. Booker said the legacy of slavery remains with us today and is compounded by ongoing racism and discrimination. The consequences for Black people in this country have been severe, continuous, and measurable. That's what he wrote to Joe Biden in a letter. So, leading the charge, of course, right now is California. They certainly are not the first state to bring it up, but they are the first to really move forward. And you got a governor there that supports it, which is highly unusual. So, we heard some of the debate that came out of California suggesting that the residents get $233,000 each in compensation. The proposal come despite the fact that slavery was banned in what is now California by the Mexican government in 1837, and the state entered the American Union at 1850 as a free state. Yeah, I saw some non-melanated person write about that, but here's the problem. Y'all still perpetuated racism. You still practice domain, eminent domain. You still had people with slaves that moved there, and y'all didn't do nothing about it. You let them continue on with life. It's not like you have been treating the Black residents good. You haven't. Look at what happened with Nori Martinez and that group of bandits that seem like they only want to be in office to undermine the Black community. You still got ongoing racism in politics all over California. So, and y'all have not only been racist, but you've been perpetuating it through your laws. So I don't see how you're so innocent in the whole thing. I really don't. But let's go on, y'all. Always the first to jump up and yap about why we didn't do this and do that. Yeah, well, your history is permeating with all kinds of crap that was done. So the New York State Assembly passed a bill establishing an 11-member reparations committee in the Empire State last year, but the measure stalled in the state Senate. Now, prominent New Yorkers, such as your mayor, which is Eric Adams, is urging the state to reconsider the bill. This country was built on free labor, sure was, and we are who we are because of that free labor, Adams said. That free labor destroyed the foundation of African Americans that worked on plantations, made cotton kings, tobacco industry, and many of the banking industries. That's just some of it. You still got the universities, you got all of these insurance companies. It is so, so deep. It is so deep. And even all of the Catholic Church, they financed their churches and schools off of slavery. And they were knee deep in it and knee deep in the murder of many of those slaves as well. All right, so now you have Wilmington, Delaware. The city was established by a 9-member task force earlier this month who remit its tackle, the issue. That's why I'm telling y'all, they always, when I was in school, wanted you to believe that it was just southern states. It was really all over this country. It really was. That's why you're hearing about all of these places in, outside of the South that are putting these task force together because it was everywhere. So Wilmington, Delaware is now in on it with a 9-member task force, and they're trying to deal with the issue of reparations. We've been hearing over the past couple of years, Evanston, Illinois. They were another one, but come to find out, theirs was really a grant for housing, down payments, and repairs. So, and that was not reparations at what they're labeling reparations is not reparations at all. So now there's also St. Louis, and they are also putting together a commission for reparations in St. Louis. And we now have Providence, Rhode Island, and they are only signing off on $10 million. When they offer up such a low amount of money, you really can't take them seriously at all, you know, and they know that's not a sufficient amount of money. But if they can get away with doing this with $10 million and making you believe it's some big thing they're doing, that's what they're going to attempt to do. But theirs is a garbage one. You're gonna have many of those in the so-called blue states, y'all. So, in all, more than a dozen states, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, among them, are now considering setting up the mechanism to consider reparations for Black Americans in their state. A recent survey by Pew Research Center found widely divergent views among Americans. Well, of course you are. You're just going to get the same thing whenever they question people from the white community. No, they don't deserve it. No, no, no. I mean, it's not like you're saying anything earth shattering. We already know what you're going to say. And of course, then when you talk to Black Americans, 77% believe reparations are deserved. Only 18% of white Americans support the idea, which is not shocking. That's to be expected. Look at the history, y'all. That should tell you right there what you should expect from them. So, those who believe such measures at local levels are insufficient are pinning their hopes on a bill introduced 3 decades ago in the House by the late Congressman John Conyers, The bill, which would create a commission to study reparations for Black Americans, is now being championed by Sheila Jackson Lee. And when was the last time she did a meeting for HR 40? I haven't seen one meet. When was the last time we saw a meeting? Wasn't that like 2020? I'm serious, y'all. She ain't do a meeting in so long. We can hardly remember there was a meeting. Nothing. She ain't doing it. Sheila Jackson Lee ain't doing squat. So, absent from action from House Miss Jackson Lee and other supporters of the bill, which has now nearly 200 co-sponsors. Yeah, they co-sponsor because there's no money involved. Yeah, it's easy to sign on to something and you're not really giving up a thing. Mr. Biden, who has previously expressed support for the bill, but Biden has also openly said he's not for us getting reparations. Okay. Don't lose sight of that at all, for real. So, the mandate to create such a commission via executive order. At a national synopsis on the topic in Evanston this month, Ms. Jackson Lee suggests that millions of Americans support the idea of reparations. Yes, but you are in a body where laws are created and y'all not doing nothing. Y'all not doing a thing. So she claims, I want for once an acceptance of the history of the journey that African Americans have taken to be an accepted reality in America. Ms. Jackson Lee said at an event, not out of fear, but out of how do we come together to resolve what happened? Well, there's some people that would much rather just keep moving on with life and not have to deal with this. That is their solution. But it's not a solution that will stand, not anymore. So I'm glad other states are getting in. I hope more. As time moves on, if more states dive in there and take on reparations, I will let you all know. And this thing should get bigger in 2023. So y'all please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.